I arrived, and immediately after arrival, an immigration officer took me from the plane and took me where I am right now in a detention center. Our ambassador was present, and then in 45 seconds, two immigration officers told me that I was not welcome in the United Kingdom, and I was detained. They took my passport, and they would send me away within 1 or 2 hours.
So, but you knew this before you set off, didn't you? So why did you still try and come to the UK?
No, I hope that still the UK government would not be that cowardly and that weak and would change their tune. I saw that even in the United an editorial of the Times, people who disagree with what I say but agreed with the fact that I should be able to say it. Our ambassador went to the Home Office and the Foreign Affairs Office this morning, so I still believe that there could be a chance that I would be allowed and just go as an elected parliamentarian, whether you agree with me or not, to an invitation of one of the UK parliamentarians. I believe there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not convicted of any crime in any country in the world. And once again, it's a very sad day. It proves that your government, your Minister Brown, your Prime Minister Brown is really the biggest coward in Europe, and not allowing free speech from a parliamentarian from another country.
But it's not so much to do with the free speech. The law is very clear that under EU laws, the UK is able to exclude someone whose presence could threaten public security, and because of your views, you could do that.
Well, how can that be possible? I was 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was a guest in the House of Lords by Lady Caroline Cox and Lord Malcolm Pearson. We had a lunch, they showed me Parliament, I went to London, and there was no problem at that time. Why did the UK government allow me to go to the UK Parliament a few weeks ago? There was no problem there. And I don't know what changed their mind. Maybe it was the showing of Fitna, which was broadcasted even for the first time by a UK company called LiveLeak. So I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not protesting or marching through the streets of London. I'm just, as an elected parliamentarian, I'm representing today, if you look at the polls, the 3rd biggest party of the Netherlands. Come on, I'm invited by a UK parliamentarian. What's wrong by going there and even talk to people who disagree with me? If Lord Ahmed, who represents a lot of Muslims in the United Kingdom, would be present this afternoon while I spoke in the House of Lords, he would be very welcome. And let's talk to one another, let's speak to one another, and if we have differences, democracy means differences and debate, and it's a very sad day if the United Kingdom today took, when it comes to the freedom of speech, really the by sending and banning a parliamentarian, elected parliamentarian from the Netherlands.
But I mean, I haven't spoken to immigration, but I would imagine the reason that you're refused entry today is, as you suggest, to do with the screening of your film. You say that you haven't done anything wrong, but calling for the Koran to be banned and making a film which has caused widespread offence across the Muslim world, surely you must realise that that isn't acceptable behaviour.
Well, this is politics. It's not incitement of violence. I would never do that. When you look at the film Fitna, it will be shown after all today in the House of Lords, because Lord Pearson and Lady Cox said that even if I was not admitted in the United Kingdom, they would show it anyway. So as we speak, it's probably screened in the House of Lords now. And so there is no problem there. And once again, you might agree or disagree when I say that we really have to fear the Islamization of our societies. And indeed that I find the Koran, and you have to see it in the Dutch context as well, because in the Netherlands we outlawed, for instance, Mein Kampf as well, because it was incitement of violence. So in the Dutch context it's really logical, if you have outlawed Mein Kampf, to really also propose outlawing the Koran. But even, and I acknowledge that and I respect that people who disagree with me should not disagree with the fact that at least I should be allowed to say it and have a debate and let the people decide. It's very easy to say, well, we don't like your view, you are not welcome, we are banning you and sending you back. What do you think what will happen? That next time, if a UK parliamentarian thinks something maybe not too common about agriculture or anything else, that he will be barred from Spain or from Poland or whatsoever? We should have a public debate. We should have the freedom of speech. And it's very easy to invite people who agree with you. But the proof in the pudding is if you invite people who disagree with you, but who are democratic elected and not incitement of violence. This is not what I'm doing, and I believe that a discussion is always better than barring people and sending people away.
But you're facing trial in your own country for inciting hatred.
Yes, and once again, this is also, I believe, a very wrong decision. It's done by a court, but don't forget that before that, the public prosecutor's office decision was twice not to prosecute me. Unfortunately for me and for the freedom of speech, a court overruled the decision of the public prosecutor's office, which is very sad. But then again, this will take years, this process, until our higher court. I have not been sentenced by any court yet. So you are right, unfortunately, despite the decision of the public prosecutor's office in the Netherlands not to bring me to court, and the higher court said I should be brought to court, but I believe that presumed innocence until found guilty is also still part of the rule of law in the United Kingdom. I have not been sentenced for anything yet, and just to bar me for speaking out my mind, I think it's once again a setback of centuries when it comes to the freedom of speech in the United Kingdom.
Now, I know we touched on this at the beginning, but just take us through in a bit more detail exactly what happened to you this afternoon. You arrived at Heathrow. Where were you taken? What message did you receive from the British government?
Yes, I was taken out of the airport immediately by a customs officer, a border agency officer from the Home Office, taken to a detention center where I am today. They told me I was detained. They took my passport and they said in 45 seconds, it was a longer time than 45 seconds, Mr. Wilders, you are not allowed to enter the United Kingdom. We will take your passport, we will detain you now, and we will send you back in within 2 hours. And I'm waiting to be sent back as we speak.
And will you be doing as they asked? Presumably you haven't got any choice.
I really don't think I have any choice because there is a right of appeal, but I cannot do that here. I have to do it from the Netherlands, so I really have no choice. I have to go back because they are sending me back.
And specifically, what reasons have you been given for having to turn around and go straight back?
Well, the reason that I would disturb the UK society and be a threat to the public security, which of course is utter nonsense because I'm invited by a lord of the House of Lords of the United Kingdom to have a debate with people who agree and disagree with me. I'm not once again protesting in the streets of London, and even if I would, but I'm not. I'm just going on an invitation of one of your members of parliament and having a debate with people who agree and who disagree with me. So I don't know how I can really threaten it. Well, I think that the decision of the Brown administration to bar me is the biggest threat here, and is the biggest threat, but then a threat to the freedom of speech in Europe.
Are you being held there at the airport? Is there a police presence with you?
Yes, I have my security detail in another room, and opposite me, the Dutch ambassador is. He was not allowed to be present when they told me their decision, but I can walk to him, and the police is there as well. So I'm detained here, and I have to wait until they send me back, and they told me it would be soon.
And you haven't been arrested, is that right?
Well, I don't know the exact translation of the word detained, but they did not say I'm arrested, but they said, Mr. Wills, you are detained. So you're better in English than I am, but I am detained, whatever it means.
And is it a case of you're on the first flight back? Do you know how long you're going to be held, where you're being held?
Well, they told me once again that it would be very soon. So probably within now and 1 hour time I will be back on a plane too.
So within an hour you're heading back. And will you attempt to come back to the UK at a later date?
Of course I will come back. I don't know when. Once again, I was in the UK 5 or 6 weeks ago without any problem, meeting my friends here. And of course I will come back. I hope this decision is a one-time decision. And I also already asked in the Netherlands that the Dutch Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs will come to Parliament, and I will ask them to make the strongest possible problems here with the UK government, and even our Prime Minister should go to Gordon Brown and tell them that it was totally unacceptable, and summon the British ambassador to The Hague as well. We will have the debate in the next coming days in the Netherlands. I already asked our Parliament to start the procedures for this debate.